Hello, in this tutorial we are going to use Maya to model a bear out of 12 polygon spheres. Let's get started. First, I'm just going to show you how to move, rotate, and scale a sphere. First, make sure that this menu says polygons. If it doesn't, click and drag down to polygons. Then go to the Create menu and go Polygon Primitives, Sphere. Click and drag near the center of the grid. I'm going to hit 5 to get into shaded mode. To move the sphere, I either select the Move tool, which is right up here, or I hit the W hotkey for Move. It does the same thing. Something called manipulators appear. These are handles of the manipulator. Grab any of the handles so the sphere moves in one direction. I can also click and drag on the center of the sphere so that the sphere moves around freely in 3D space. If you don't like what you've done in Maya, you can always undo it. Control Z undoes whatever your last command was. So if I move my sphere up here and I realized I liked it better in its last position, I can hit Control Z and it will go back to where it was before. Stop the video here and practice moving your sphere and practice using the undo command by hitting Control Z. This is called the channel box. When you move your sphere, you can see that the translate X, translate Y, and translate Z values in the channel box are constantly changing. That's because these numbers represent the position of your sphere in 3D space. You can either type 0, 0, make sure to hit enter after each 0, and 0 to return your sphere to the center of the grid or the origin. Or you can, let's move it again to get it out of position. You can click and drag over all the fields, all the translate fields at the same time and hit 0 once, and it will enter 0 into all the fields that you've highlighted, and you get the same result. Your sphere is back at the origin. If you click on the Rotate tool, which is over here, or hit the E hotkey, you can now rotate your sphere. You can grab a handle and rotate in any one direction. The handle are these different colored lines here. Or you can click on the middle of the sphere and rotate in every direction at the same time. Just like the translate fields, now the rotate fields are changing because you're rotating your object. And you can either change these back to 0 one at a time, or like we did before, highlight them all and hit 0 once and change them all at the same time, and now your sphere is no longer rotated in any direction. Stop the video and practice rotating your sphere, and then return the sphere to its original position by typing 0, 0, 0 in the rotate fields of the channel box. Now, click on the Scale tool or hit the R key to scale your sphere. You can click on the center of the sphere to make the sphere bigger or smaller in any direction, or grab one of the handles to scale it in just one direction. Remember, to undo your last command, you just hit Control Z. And then if you want to return the sphere to its original scale, change all the scale fields to 1 in the channel box. Remember, don't change the scale fields to 0 like the translate and rotate fields, because if you change it to 0, you're basically telling Maya to scale it down to nothing, and you don't want that because your sphere will disappear on you. You want 1. Now, stop the video and practice scaling your sphere in different directions. Then return the sphere to its original scale by changing the scale fields back to 1 in the channel box. Okay, let's create our bear. We could create another sphere to make the head, but it's easier if you have your current sphere selected to just hit Control D, and that duplicates our sphere. You could also go to Edit, Duplicate, but Control D does the same thing. I'm going to hit W to get into Move mode and move the sphere I just created up. this is going to be the bear's head. Obviously it's too big now, so I'm going to hit R to go into scale mode and scale it down. I'm going to hit Control D again because I want my bear to have a muzzle, and then W to move it forward, and then R to scale again. When I model, I'm constantly going from W to E to R for move, rotate, and scale. So now I'm shrinking down this sphere to make the muzzle on the bear. There. Now our bear has a muzzle area. I'm going to hit Alt and left mouse button to rotate around my view, and then Alt and right mouse button to scale up my view, and then Alt and middle mouse button to pan my view, just so I can get a better look around my bear. Okay, so now we're going to select the muzzle and hit Control D to duplicate the muzzle and move it up and move it back and to the side. Now remember, I'm hitting W to get into move mode and R to get into scale mode. And I'm going to flatten this sphere out and move it more to the side to make the ears, right? I guess bear ears are a little higher up. And now I'm hitting Alt and the right mouse button to rotate the view around so I can see how flat my bear ears are. And I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go back and select the bear muzzle sphere and hit Control D to duplicate it again and move it up just a little bit and scale it down. Move it up. Scale it down to give my bear a nose. Now I'm going to duplicate by hitting Control D. Move it over. Move it back, and give him an eye. And let's say I'm happy with that. I'm going to grab the muzzle sphere again, or any sphere really that you want. I just keep grabbing the muzzle one because it's there and it's round. And I'm going to give my bear an arm, obviously. Now, I want the arm to be a little longer and thinner. So I'm going to go into scale mode, but now I'm just going to grab the handle here that makes it long and scale it down longer. Say I'm happy with the length of that arm. I'm going to hit E to rotate. And cartoon characters, or any sort of computer graphics characters, are usually modeled in a T position. This makes giving it a skeleton and rigging it later more easy. So I want the arms to stick straight out. I could eyeball it like this and say, oh, it's sticking out. Or I could go over here in the rotate field and type -90 to make sure that that angle is perfectly straight. So now I'm going to move the arm out to wherever I think I like it. And okay, so I'm happy with where the arm is. I'm hitting Alt and left mouse button to rotate my view. And I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate my arm and to make it a leg. So now I want the leg to stick straight down. I'm going to go back to the -90 and make it 0 to rotate it exactly 90 degrees. So now I know that leg is sticking exactly down, and I'm going to move it into place. So that is basically half of our bear. We're not modeling both sides yet because we can mirror that over in a moment. So we just model one of everything that we need. And now I'd like you to stop the video and play around with the proportions of your bear until you're happy with it.
Now we're going to duplicate the ear, the eye, the arm, and the leg over to the other side. There are many ways to do this, but the easiest way is to just select them, duplicate them, and move them over. Let's do that now. Click on the eye, hit Control D to duplicate, W to get into move mode, and then just drag it over to wherever you need it to be. Then we're going to hit the ear and hit Control D to duplicate it. Hit W if you're not in move mode. If you already are, like I am, just drag it over. You can hit the Alt button and drag with the left mouse button to see the placement better. If I like where that ear is, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to click on the arm, hit Control D, W to get into move mode if you're not already there. I'm already there, so we're going to drag it over. And I'm going to click on the leg and hit Control D and drag that one over too. I'm hitting Alt and dragging with the left mouse button to see where the leg is. I'm happy with the placement, so I'm done with duplicating.
Okay, let's give our bear some color. First, we're going to go to Window, Rendering Editors, and Hypershade. The Hypershade comes up, and I'm going to hit Alt and middle mouse button and drag my bear over so I can see both the Hypershade and the bear. By default, anything you create in Maya is assigned this boring gray shader called Lambert 1. We're going to create a new one so that our bear has color. You go to Create, Materials, Lambert. And we're going to go up here, and the Lambert is selected so we can rename it in the channel box editor, and we're going to say bear skin or whatever you want to call it. I should explain what a material is. A material represents what your object is made of. These are materials. And you can have, it's not just color, it's also the texture of the object, how shiny it is, sometimes transparency. You can have a bear that looks like it's made of stone, or a bear that looks like it's made of liquid metal, or all sorts of crazy things. Materials can get very, very complicated, but we're just going to stick with colors this time. So if I double click on the material, oops, I don't know why my bear goes back. I'm going to hit Alt and right mouse button to zoom in, and then Alt and middle mouse button to pan to get our bear back into focus. You click on the, when I double clicked on bear skin, that attribute editor came up, which means we're going to change some attributes of the bear skin material. So I'm going to click on color. It's going to bring up this color palette, and you can click on any of the colors up here to begin with, and then you can further alter the colors by picking in this hue range. And see how it's changing in the material editor here. So we don't want a light blue bear. I think we want a brown bear. We can click the brown here or choose our own brown. You can add more white to it by using this slider, or more black to it by using this slider. Let's say this is the best brown we want, and we'll use this. So now we have our brown bear skin. I'm going to grab everything I want brown. So I'm going to click on the arm, hit the Shift key, hold it down, and just keep clicking on objects with the Shift key held down. The Shift key allows me to select multiple objects at once in Maya. If I clicked and dragged around everything, it would select parts of the face that I don't want brown, so I'm not doing that. Now I go over to the brown material that I just created, and I right click on it and hold, and I drag up to Assign Material to Selection, and that just says put this brown on anything I just picked. See, and now I'm just clicking outside to unselect. Our whole bear is brown except for the muzzle, the eyes, and the nose. Now let's create shaders for those parts too. Create, Material, Lambert. Here we are again. Let's click on the color, and I guess we'll give our bear a yellow muzzle. Click on the muzzle, right click on the shader and hit Assign Material to Selection again. Now our muzzle is yellow. And then let's click Create, Materials, Lambert. Lambert is a type of material, and there's lots of different materials. Like I said, materials can get crazy complicated, but Lambert is the default one. It's kind of a material that is not very shiny, just kind of, when I think of Lambert shaders, I think of like a wall that's just been painted in your bedroom. It's not shiny, it's not complicated, it's simple. So anyways, click on color, hit green or blue or brown or whatever you want the eyes to be. Let's just do black. Black eyes. And then I'm going to click, hold down the Shift key, click again, and then right click on the material and go Assign Material to Selection. Finally, let's color this guy's nose. Create Material Lambert. Click on the color. I'm going to choose pink, because why not? Click on the nose, right click, Assign Material to Selection, and there we go. There's our colored bear. Obviously, if you wanted to work cleanly, you can name all these materials so that you know which is the bear nose, which is the bear muzzle. I haven't done that yet, but you can. So stop the video now and play around in here until you're satisfied with the colors of your bear.